Well, as we expected, the managerial merry-go-round has begun. It normally does this time of year in the October international break, and it's begun to happen again. Of course, I was on holiday and I missed the previous two managerial sackings, which was, of course, Isco Munoz getting replaced by Danny Röhl at Sheffield Wednesday, and John Eustace, the shocking decision to get John Eustace replaced at Birmingham by Wayne Rooney. I did discuss both of them managerial changes in a recent roundup video of all the stuff I missed while I was away, so check that out if you want to hear my thoughts on them too. But I did not expect another managerial departure to drop on Wednesday nights, days before the next upcoming game, which is insane. But it is also a bit strange because I also did another video only at the weekend where I did discuss 5 managers who I thought could be next to get the boot in the Championship, and one of them 5 managers was Gary Rowett. Now, I did admit in that video he was one of the 5 where I felt as if I was kind of clutching at straws. I felt like I was shoehorning him in there to get a 5th manager in, and I did have comments under that video of Millwall fans, one of which saying Rowett would be next, and knew that there was a bit of discontent. Maybe the fans had lost faith in Gary Rowett, but I didn't think that him and the club would decide to part ways at this point, but that is exactly what they've done, and the statement reads as follows. This is from Millwall's official website. It does say that they mutually agreed to part company, which obviously means they've both come to the same decision. It mentions that Gary Rowett, of course, has been in charge for 4 years, almost 4 years to the day, I believe. He was hired in October 2019. I think it was the 21st of October. He's been relieved of his duties on the 18th this time round, and he may have been the longest serving manager, or one of them longest serving in the Championship. But it does obviously mention his achievements at Millwall, them challenging for playoffs consistently over the last few years. It's good to hear the chairman obviously mentioning that they appreciate his efforts in time. Gary Rowett has also made some good comments about thanking the fans for his time during the club, the atmosphere. He also thanks the players. It does mention that his coaching backroom team will be leaving alongside him, and it will be a brand new team coming in with whoever the next manager will be. And it's very graceful, very harmonious. Thanking, the chairman thanking Gary Rowett thanking the fans, the players. It's a very nice separation from the two parties, which is good to see. Now, having a little look at Gary Rowett's time in charge of Millwall, of course, he did join in the 2019-20 season. They finished that season in 8th place, just outside the playoffs. They did drop in his first full season, getting 68 points, 6 less than the previous season in 11th, but they have then improved season upon season. Despite having 1 less point last season, they did finish 1 place higher. They went from 9th in 21-22 up to 8th last season, heartbreakingly missing out on the playoffs on the final day, of course. And across his time as Millwall manager, Gary Rowett has had a total win percentage of 38.8%. He managed 196 games for Millwall. He won 76 of them, drawing 57 and losing 63. So he won more games than what he drew, and he won more games than what he lost. So my thoughts on this. Now, I didn't just shoehorn it in to my video at the weekend for the sake of it. There were some reasons behind why I thought this was a possibility. Of course, looking at the Championship League table, Millwall are in 15th as it stands, and I guess you could say based off of expectations are a couple of places below where they need to be, but they're only 3 points off the playoffs with how tight mid-table is at the moment, so I wouldn't say Millwall were in a perilous position and were any worse off than, I guess, where you'd expect them to kind of be. But I think it's not just the statistics and the sheer numbers or what the table says that I think has brought the chairman and the ownership at Millwall and Gary Rowett and whoever else was involved to this decision. I think what it is, and this is where I kind of think it might be the right decision, is that they probably thought that this partnership had gone as far as it could. There has been plenty of discontent from the fans this season towards Gary Rowett when Millwall went through a really poor spell at the start of the season. After beating Borough on the opening day, they went on a bit of a poor run and fans were really on his back. And I think they won at Millwall in a midweek game not too long ago, and I feel like if he hadn't won that, it could have really been in a dire situation. But what I said in my video at the weekend was I think they've got out here before things turned sour, and they've made a decision to make a change and go their separate ways while things were still relatively okay. Yes, there was discontent, as I say, from some fans, but it hadn't gotten to the boiling point to which people are absolutely crying for him to leave. They're not in the relegation zone, they're not in the bottom 3 or anything like that. But you can certainly see, and I mentioned this at the weekend, one bad run for Millwall, I think, would have led to that situation. They were one bad run, one run of defeats away from things potentially turning ugly, and it's crazy to think nowadays that 4 years is a long time for a manager to be at a football club, but there is the argument to suggest that he took them as far as he could. Millwall couldn't go any further under his tenure, and, you know, it's good to see this little bit of ambition from Millwall in a sense. You know, they've noticed that the last few years he's had them on the brink of challenging for the playoffs, and it seems like they're not settling to just be challenging every season, or they're not settling for maybe dropping back into mid-table every so often. Millwall are wanting to, as they said in that statement, they used the word build upon, which is a key word. They mentioned that they want to build on the success that Gary Rowett has brought to the club, which I think is a very positive and ambitious word, without obviously taking a hit at what Gary Rowett's done before, but also not raising expectations too high for the guy coming in. It says that a comprehensive recruitment process is already underway at the club as the club looks to build upon the success that Rowett has overseen. So they're acknowledging what he's done, but they want to go one better. And I think that is a perfectly viable excuse. I think there is a case to say that he's took Millwall as far as he can, and I've heard a lot of Championship pundits and podcasts say a similar thing, and I completely agree with it. I think Gary Rowett is a solid manager who'll do a good job for any team, wherever he's at in the Championship. I think he'll get them solid, he'll get them steady in mid-table, and they might have a flirt with the top 6. But I think when you look at this season, when the other teams, the standard has risen, you could say, it's more competitive for the top 6 than it has been for a long time, you then maybe have to look at the manager and think, right, if we want to go this next level, take that next step, we need someone that little bit better. And Millwall are going to take the plunge. So the decision, I wouldn't say is the wrong one, but I would like to hope that they've got someone in place, because the one thing that has surprised me about this a little bit is the timing. Normally, when you have an international break, you'd like to think an owner would want to get this decision done, signed and sorted at the start of the international break and bring in the new coach so that they have them 2 weeks to get themselves embedded, settled and get their style of football across. It just gives the side a better chance of hitting the ground running at the end of the international break when they've had 2 weeks on the training ground as opposed to a week or even a few days. So the only question mark I do have is the fact that Millwall have waited a week and a half into this 2-week break before making this decision or announcing this decision, so that the new manager essentially either isn't going to be in time for the game at the weekend, or will come a couple of days after, and suddenly there's cup games midweek, there's league games coming thick and fast, and suddenly it's not ideal preparation. So yeah, timing's a bit of a funny one for me. The only excuse I can think of regarding that is that they were waiting to get a verbal agreement in place, or even a more formal agreement in with someone else before announcing Rowett was going to leave, and they've only just gotten confirmation of whoever the new manager may be that he is coming in, and that's when they felt like they can finally, announce that Rowett is leaving. Maybe this has been agreed for a few weeks, a few days since the international break started, and we've only just found out about it now. But yeah, I'd be intrigued to see what Millwall fans think of this news. I personally, I'm not aggrieved by this decision. You look at previous ones, I think Isco's was perfectly justified, Eustace's was absolutely not. I'd say this one is somewhere in the middle. There is an argument as to why Rowett had enough credit in the bank to continue on this season. They weren't in any big trouble, there weren't massive alarm bells, but you can also understand why the ownership have decided to pull the plug now before things got a little bit messy and a bit nasty if things went wrong. And now they've made the decision. Everyone parts in a nice, happy, content manner, and Millwall can look ahead now to hopefully seeing someone who could get them going that extra step. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below if you're a fan of a Championship club or you're a fan of Millwall yourself. And the big question, who's next? Who would you like to come in to take Millwall into that proper top 6 fight, to be in a playoff fight this season and to solidify a place in the playoffs potentially, unlike the end of last season? But until then, guys, thank you very much for watching this video. It's been good to actually be in the country for one of these, so I can report on it straight away instead of missing them while I was on holiday. But yeah, that is the 3rd managerial sacking of the season. Gary Rowett is out at Millwall. Like this video if you've enjoyed it, subscribe for more. I do predictions and roundup videos and review videos of my club, Borough, here on the channel, so subscribe if you want to see all that good stuff. Comment below your thoughts as always. A big thank you for watching, do take care. I'll see you all next time.